This bed here is a lantana plant, or a bush, lantana bush I just cut back. And these are salvia, like a purple salvia in here. And I just planted a whole bunch of zinnia seeds in here because I think that'll be really pretty just to have a whole ton of zinnias. And they'll get about as tall as this fence, and this fence is like 4 feet tall. Or sorry, it's 3 feet tall. These collards are looking good. I did not plant any of these collards that you see right here. They just came up on their own. That one looks like it's a top bunching early, and these are probably Georgia Southern collards. But they're right here next to the garlic, and the garlic is just looking wonderful. I love the size of some of these garlics in here. They just look really, really good. So I'm very happy with that. But I didn't plant a whole lot of fall crops, and these just came up, and we haven't really been eating on them a lot. So I mean, they're really good right now, but they will get very bitter here very shortly. Probably by April, they'll end up needing to come out because they'll be too bitter. But look at the size of this collard right here. It's just like, it's really big. They're just beautiful, and they're doing really well. Is the only thing in this row here that, and this will actually be tomatoes when it comes time to put those in. So I wanted to take you along with me as I get some peas planted in the garden. So I live in Central Georgia, Zone 8B. Now what this means is I live in the South. Not only do I live in the South, I live in the deep South, meaning it's very, very hot, and I live on the East Coast, and it's very humid. Now, although I have a long growing season, I do have a very short window of time for growing spring crops like lettuce or peas or anything that I want to grow for spring. So because of that, for our area, you usually want to get your peas in the ground probably like in January, February, and then March is kind of your cutoff date. Now, it is the first week of March, and last month I planted some pea plants, and I'm standing here looking at them, and they are growing and they're doing pretty well. However, I did plant about 150 peas, and only about 55 of them came up, and so that's like 1/3. So I need to come out here and plant another 2/3 of the peas and get all the missing all of the blank spaces filled with peas. Now, what I have growing out here is a variety called Early Perfection, which is from Burpees. You can get it in any box store, and it's a drought-resistant variety, and that's kind of why I bought them and why I planted them. But I do not have any more of those seeds, but I do have like snow peas and other types of sugar peas and snap peas, and so I'm just gonna plant those. I'm not really too concerned about keeping varieties super separate. I will kind of try and keep a general idea of what I'm doing, so I kind of have some sort of but I'm not really too terribly worried about it. Like usually like when I'm planting tomatoes and stuff, like I want to know what I'm putting where and why, but with these I'm not too concerned about that. These are not for shelling peas, although I would like to do that in the near future. These are specifically for just like growing and eating fresh, and that is why I'm planting so many, because I have not planted near enough for us to eat fresh peas and have like a lot of fresh peas. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on planting those. So you can see here I have peas planted all the way down, going to the end of this fence line. I don't know how long this space is. I think this is maybe 50 feet of space. But you can see right here I have a pea plant there, but I'm missing a pea plant there, and then the second one starts there. So right there I have 1, 2, 3, 4 missing pea plants. And the way that I judged it is these spaces of wire are 6 inches, and so I planted each plant 6 inches apart. So every time the wire goes down into the ground like that, that is where I'm planting a pea plant. This area has been amended with compost as well as some horse compost that we got, and so I'm not going to re-amend it. I'm just going to come in here and plant more seeds. So I wanted to cut in here and talk about spacing and depth. So when you're planting pea plants, you're going to want to do them about 6 inches apart and planted to from half an inch to an inch deep. Now, whether or not you should soak your seeds prior to planting is entirely up to you. It's entirely your prerogative. I have done a side-by-side comparison to see whether or not pre-soaking the seeds prior to planting makes that big a difference. And I have pretty poor germination on my pea plants most of the time. Like, for example, I planted out 150 pea plants and I only have like 55 up. So that is only 1/3 of my seeds germinated and came up, and those seeds are only a year old. And so I don't have the greatest of luck with pea plants germinating anyways. However, I did soak those because I wasn't sure whether or not I wanted to, so I just went ahead and soaked them. And then the ones I just planted today, I did not soak. And I would say that if you're going to soak them, I would soak them 6 to 8 hours. Some people do 2 to 4 hours. Some people do 6 to 8. Some people do 12. And some people go as long as 24. I prefer to keep it somewhere in the middle. That's why I do 6 to 8 hours. Maybe they need to be soaked less of the time. Maybe they need to be soaked more. But generally, I have done an 8-hour soak. And I've done a side-by-side comparison. And it didn't make that big a difference. So that's just up to you on whether or not you want to take that extra step or not, and whether or not that extra step actually is helpful to you. It's not like difficult step or anything. It's just remembering to put them into soak and remembering that you're going to, planning ahead for it. But it doesn't. Yeah, I haven't found it makes that big a difference for me, but you might find it makes an enormous difference for you. So that's just that's up to you entirely in your prerogative. So, a side note that I want to mention is that pea plants, I don't know what it is about peas, but I feel like they take forever to start growing. And it's like you keep coming out here week after week, like you'll go 2 weeks and you're seeing barely any progression in the plants. And you might see a couple, like 5, little things poking up out of the ground. And you're thinking, my goodness, this is taking forever. And then you don't come out here for 3 days and you come out here and it's like, they're just like all up and it's like, what happened? So I guess patience is a virtue. Something I'm going to try and do this year, and this is kind of on a random side note, but something I want to do this year is I want to try and put more flowers in the garden this year. And so I'm going to try harder to put plant zinnias out here, marigolds and things like that, because last year we had some marigolds and some zinnias that just the marigolds I put out here, but the zinnias just popped up and they were very, very beautiful. And so I'd like to kind of try and recreate that a little bit and, intentionally plant things. So that is something that I'm making mental note of for this year. And once I get these planted, I'll probably come and pick up a lot of these weeds and kind of weed through this bed a little bit more thoroughly, because you can see there's, quite a bit of weeds in here. There's like probably some sort of melon or cucumber, and there's also a little tomato plant right there, which I probably will leave that or dig it up one. I don't know. I love it when they just pop up. But anyways, I'll get you set up on a time lapse and we will get planting the peas. Actually did not take that long. That probably took every bit of 10 minutes, but I got them all planted. So this bed here, I established last year, and I did it by laying down a layer of cardboard. I threw rotten wood on top of it, and then I piled basically weeds on top of it. Like, instead of just composting them, I threw them right there, and they broke down. And then in the spring, I actually turned the soil over, and then I amended it with some compost, and it actually looks pretty good. And I do have some peas up in here. It's kind of hard to tell with a lot of the little weeds in here. But behind it are potato grow bags that our seed potatoes have not come yet, but that is what's going to get planted in those. And I don't know where I'm going to move those bags, but I don't want to keep them back here because I feel like it's a little too shady. But I don't know where I want to put them, but I will find a place. So you can see here the plants, you know, they're about, inch tall, and they look pretty good. And I might go in here and pinch a bunch of them to try and get them to kind of bush out. And pinching them, you just, like so, you just pinch them. There's no rhyme or reason. There is a reason. There is not like some sort of like special technique though, but you just go in there and you just pinch them off. And you can do that to get bushier plants. A lot of these plants like this one, you see how it has 2 branches? Well, one that has like a single branch, this one needs to get a little bigger before I pinch it, but if you pinch it, it'll cause it to branch off a little better, and you'll end up with a bushier plant, and bushier plants will produce more. So this one's a great example. I can just come right here and I can just pinch it off at the head. You could pinch further down if you wanted to. I'm not gonna go that far down. But with these leggy ones especially, I want to pinch them because they're just a little leggy, and I don't like that. I don't like the legginess. Now I am going to go off course here for a random look at the onion patch, which there are some weeds in here. They have been mulched with leaves, so you can see these weeds in here. They just need to be pulled out, but the leaves have done a really good job at keeping a lot of moisture in the ground, as well as helping keep weeds, acting as a weed suppressant. And these are the onions, and these were done from onion sets, so they came in the individual bulbs and we planted them down. I have about 300 in this entire space. This is a 4x36 row, so 4 feet wide, 36 feet long. This flag is marking the variety, so these are sweet onions. And then these here are all white onions, which I've noticed the white ones do not do it quite as well. And then from here down are all red onions, and they actually look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with them. I haven't noticed any like bulbing or anything going on with them, but they will eventually. And they look much healthier than the ones I tried to grow last year that I planted in January. So I got these in October. I planted these in October, and I planted the ones I did last year in January, and these ones just look a lot better than those other ones I did last spring. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I appreciate each and every single one of you for sticking around. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. It helps out the channel quite a lot. If you want to stick around, hit that big red subscribe button. And if you never want to miss a brand new upload, click that bell icon and you'll be notified. And feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I would absolutely love to hear from you all. And I will leave links to all of my socials down below. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.